in the last week we've had pedestrians hit, pedestrians die. What's going on? What has changed? What's different? What do we do about it? In the studio, one of our decision makers, the Assistant Commissioner for Road Policing, Doug Fryer. Good morning.
Good morning, Neil.
How does it compare? How long since we've at this sort of level at this time of year?
We haven't seen trauma like this since 2008, so if we keep going this way, we're going to top 300 deaths in a year. That's what we saw in 2008. But at 187, it's really concerning. It should be for everyone. It does happen to people that you know at those sort of numbers.
The pedestrian deaths, how many in recent, well, actually overall? Take me through what's happened the past week or so.
Well, just in the last week since Thursday, we've had 8 people die on our roads. 4 of those were pedestrians. Everyone an absolute tragedy. We had a 45-year-old Brighton man walking with his wife, doing the right thing, crossing at a crossing in Caulfield when he was hit by a car. He's died, and his wife is still in a coma. Then the same day, the next day on Friday, we had a 52-year-old on Maroondah Highway get struck and killed. On Saturday, we had an 86-year-old crossing Sydney Road, and he's died. And as most recently, I think you would have heard on the news, that on Sunday, a 45-year-old lady was walking in the early hours of the morning up near Bendigo, and she was struck and killed, and someone's been charged over that. And we've got another 2 who are still fighting for life, 2 pedestrians. But even the other deaths, we've had a tiny little girl, a 28-week Prem, who was alive for 2 days. She died, and the eldest was a 93-year-old woman, all in the space of a week.
The pedestrian figures, are they up overall, or has it just been just the past couple of weeks?
It's certainly neck and neck with where it was. We're 1 over from where we were last year. Our pedestrians are 25 for this year, and they were 24 at the same time last year. Our motorbikes are 18 over, we knew that, and our drivers are 21 over. Their passengers are down significantly. The passengers in vehicles are down by 12. What we're seeing, though, is that 54% of the fatalities on our road with vehicles are single cars. They're not involved in other vehicles. They're cars running off roads, hitting stationary objects. So there's a piece here for community about recognising that they're vulnerable.
Is there any thread to these single vehicle accidents, like a high level of alcohol or speed or anything like that?
Well, we know that the country area is overrepresented. So out of all of our deaths, 187 deaths, that 94 have happened in the metro area and 93 in the country. So we're neck and neck. But when it comes to population, certainly the metro has about 4.8 million people living in it, where the country has 1.2.
Well, I presume the country people are driving greater distances.
They're driving greater distances, and importantly driving on roads at 100 kilometre zone. So we know when you make a minor mistake at 100 kilometres an hour, it can have fatal consequences. So we just ask everyone that when they're travelling, particularly on the country roads, just to focus on one thing, that's to get there safe. Don't get distracted and rest when you need it. Any
theories? Why the sudden spike?
Well, yeah, there's a number of issues in here. We are seeing just the spate in the last couple of days with the pedestrians. Our population grows 1.7 year on year. Our vehicles are growing at a rate of about 2% every year. So we're getting more people into Victoria, we're getting more vehicle on our roads. Our roads are getting safer, our vehicles are safer, but we're just having more and more people on our roads.
So is it really, do we have to accept that there's a statistical increase because of increased population?
Well, there certainly has been an increase in line with the increased population. What I'd like to see, I suppose, is everyone understanding that it is a high-risk activity driving. So, at 252 last year is an enormous number. We'll top 300 this year if we don't slow it down. There's a number in here, Neil, that every year we have about 5,000 people who are seriously injured. Of those, 1,100 will either not walk, talk, feed themselves again. So the hidden cost of road trauma really is those 1,100 whose lives will never be the same.